clock? Oh, you already know what it is, man. Ooh and Jay, they coming through. Straight no chaser. Straight from the hip.
Straight from the hip, don't need no script, just need a microphone. My man Coach Boo gon' take you to the entertainment zone. They got the stats of this and that to keep this show on point. And when we done, we have some fun and rock this funky joint. So if you will, sit back and chill, give us a chance to show ya. If one of y'all would like to call, we'll talk just like we know ya. We take control, then start the roll, and then there ain't no stopping. It's time to dip straight from the hip. Hey yo, let's get it poppin'.
All right, welcome to Straight from the Hip. As always, we have our hosts, Coach Boo Mitchell and Travis Butler. Today is Monday, May 18th, the year of the Lord 2020, which is a special date for me because it is my 36th birthday. So that just shows the commitment I go to. I'm up here having ribs and cake. I had to clean my face off and get down here to get ready for the show. So, you know, and I mean, the coach will tell you, he know how much I love some ribs. So, you know, that's a lot for me.
Can I say something, though?
Yeah, go for it.
You probably the first person in the history of radio to shout that combination out. You said ribs and cake.
Oh, yeah.
Who the hell said ribs and cake?
I like ribs and cake.
You want your favorite things for your birthday? I like cake. I like ribs.
Soto, this man said ribs and cake.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. That's what I ate for dinner right now. Yo.
Oh, get him! That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we just went to where we go? Bahama Breeze. That's exactly what I ate.
Ribs and cake. Y'all open up a joint called Ribs and Cake.
Hey, we gonna make money, Jason.
See how long y'all stay in business with ribs.
Oh,
and
we'll be in
cake.
business for a while. You think man, people love some ribs, and you know they love some cake.
Hi, and welcome to Playbook Athlete, the nation's fastest growing network for athlete exposure. Whether it's our nationally syndicated internet radio show, our recently launched TV platform, or our aggressive reach on social media, which registers over 1 million impressions every 30 days, our goal is to provide the ultimate level of exposure. With Twitter emerging as one of the primary methods of communication with student athletes, college coaches have been evaluating talent and offering prospects simply by sending a tweet. Join the network today. Build your brand now. A small investment today for a big return tomorrow. Exposure, opportunity, the playbook. Follow us on Twitter at Playbook Athlete. #WhyIGrind.
Coach, I guess we start off with the same thing we've been starting off with for the last 5 weeks. Let's start with The Last Dance. This time we're going to start with Travis, then let me go, and then let Coach finish because we know this is a hard situation for Coach. You know, he watched 5 weeks of his sixth favorite person in the world because I know he got his mama, he got his kids, and he got his friend Brad. But after that, we know it's Michael Jordan. So I know it's hard for you, Coach. So I'm going to let you go last. But Travis, what's your two takes from the last 2 episodes?
Of course, like everybody else, sad that it's over, really insightful, all that. But, of course, the big take, and something that I don't think Michael Jordan knew about until he was sitting down at that, in his house when the owner came back and said that he would have considered bringing Phil and MJ and Pippen and all the guys back. So that would have been really cool. It would have been interesting to see how many of the guys they would have been able to keep. The next year was a lockout shortened year. They didn't start till February. So it might have worked in the Bulls' favor that MJ could have had an extra 2 or 3 months to sit around and recoup and get ready for 50 games. So I think they would have been able to win it, probably one more. And then just second of all, I think it was just cool to see, with everyone's heard of the flu game, but it ends up being food poisoning from a bad pizza. So that was a cool, interesting take that they talked about.
Jason, did you work in the pizza industry over there in Utah? Have you ever worked in the pizza industry in Utah?
I'm gonna address that, man. I'm I'm about to keep it 100 on that one, but we're gonna get there in a second. Travis, you finished or?
Yeah, that's my two. Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was dope. I thought the last two showed me some things that I wanted to see throughout. Definitely when they talked about his head security, I think it was Gus or Gil, something like that. It was saying him and Jordan's relationship, especially after his father passed. Like a lot of those moments is what I thought the documentary would be more about. That the last season, but the human side of Jordan. Because I'm on record saying Jordan's an a-hole, and I stand by that. But I know, like every human being, it's it's people that you're close to. And Jordan had an inner circle, and in his inner circle, he was a loving, caring, and compassionate man. I definitely thought, too, the whole statement about from the owner, and that's what I kept saying, we keep killing Jerry Krause, and I'm no way going to try to cape for Jerry Krause, but Jerry Krause don't run the Bulls. The Bulls have an ownership, and if Jerry Krause was saying these things, and if it wasn't being mandated from Bulls ownership that this is what the direction was going to be, Jerry Krause wouldn't have been saying those things. So I felt like Jerry Reinsdorf is getting off the hook for this. Jerry Reinsdorf broke up that dynasty. It had nothing to do with Jerry Krause, because it's no different than Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. If Kraft says, you know what, trade Garoppolo, we want to keep Brady, Brady stays. Same thing in this situation. If Reinsdorf said, hey, I don't care what Jerry Krause said, we're staying until we lose, and that's going to be final, and went through with it, that team would have still been together. As far as your flu game, a.k.a. food poisoning game, I still call it the hangover game. Who the hell's ordering pizza at 3 a.m. in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning? I've been on a lot of nights, and I know a lot of people that order pizza.
People that eat steak and ribs. That's a cake and ribs.
Yeah, and enjoy barbecue too.
That's what
everybody know if you order that pizza 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, that's because you hungover, not because I'm just hungry all of a sudden. Get out of here. Go ahead, Coach.
My thing was, I thought it was nice to see the episode 9 because the whole Steve Kerr thing. I didn't know that about his dad being murdered and that whole piece. I mean, and so to see that, and obviously the shot and how that shot took place that Kerr made and all that, where Jordan kind of whispered to him in the huddle like, "Get ready, because if he comes to get me, I'm gonna give it to you," And of course Kerr makes the shot and whatnot. Last episode, I mean, so much was good in that to me. We want to talk more about the demise and what happened, but I really like the commentary by Scotty at the end, where Scotty actually gives praise to Jerry Krause. He said, I actually played for the best head coach ever, the best player ever, the best GM ever. And he said that. I mean, you got to give him his credit. He's the one that put this whole thing together. So for Scotty to say that, I thought that was awfully big of him. I agree with Jason. It was Reinsdorf's fault, and he even said it. He said Dennis would have been too much money. He would have wanted too much money for what he was worth because he was on the decline. Kerr would have wanted too much money. All these guys really had passed their prime for us to try to bring all these guys back. And I wasn't basically going to pay that money to get everybody back. And that's what he said. I mean, point blank.
Well,
so go ahead, Travis.
I was just going to say, the thing with Dennis, he was too worried about WCW and Bash at the Beach. So I love how they put that in there.
And that's true. And everybody knew when you had Dennis Rodman, I mean, that could happen at any time. I mean, who would have known the next day he wouldn't have shown up for whatever reason? I mean, dude, after a while, and this is going to sound crazy, I mean, I think winning championship rings can even get tired for some people. I mean, when you got 6 championship rings, it's like, what else is there to shoot for?
No, I agree.
I will say this real quickly, Jason. As fate would have it, the power went out in my house last night shortly after episode 10 started.
Oh.
It did not come back on till after the damn thing went off. So I didn't see the rest of it until today. And it was driving me crazy. I wasn't going to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and watch it, or 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And I just caught the last part of it today after I got off work.
Absolutely. Yeah, but if anybody had any hot takes or anything they noticed or something they thought was interesting there. I did think, too, also, when Jordan went number 6, how he kept repeating, he got the 6. We got 6, baby, blah, blah. I feel like in that moment, this is me spitballing, I think in that moment he had just fully realized, like, no, I've passed magic now.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's nobody can say anything else to me now. You know, he kept saying, "Oh, we got 6, baby. We did it. We got 6." Like I felt like that was really a direct shot, saying, "Hey, you know what? We went past magic. We surpassed, quote unquote, the modern day best player in the game right there."
I did, but I'm typing a comment here now. I mean, after seeing all this that they went through, I seriously don't think they would have got a 7th ring. I mean, when you see all the turmoil that they went through to get these, and I mean, they went through some stuff. I mean, Dennis Rodman, 2 during the season vacations, if you will, yada, yada, yada. I mean, to me, and even getting Scotty to come back, like Michael said, Scotty would have only gotten $14 million when he probably would have been in the market of $40 million, but I still think I could have got him back. I mean, they would have had to have gone through a lot and given up a lot to even try for a 7th ring. And I just think it would have been tough.
But let's go ahead and move forward. If nobody have any comments, we'll just move forward on to the next topic. Coach, I mean, we got to talk about your brethren, man. Your brethren's out here getting in trouble with the law. So we just had a recent slew of NFL players getting into some trouble with the law. Maybe Ray Lewis was right when he said there's be no football, crime rates to go up. We didn't know it would be the players, though. But, Coach, I guess, Travis, go ahead and tell us a little bit about some of the issues going on with the players and the law.
Yeah, I think the biggest one that's happened this week is a little more close to home here for, at least Georgia fans with DeAndre Baker getting, I believe, 4 counts of robbery and battery with Quentin Dunbar at the same time. They both came back to a hotel or a house in Florida that they had been to a few nights before, allegedly lost some money and was trying to get it back. So they're probably never going to play in the NFL again if this is true. Allegedly, again, if this is true, they're done in the NFL and probably looking at, many, many years in prison. I guess Ed Oliver got a DWI, in Texas. I just don't understand, 1, why are you out right now in the pandemic? 2, you're a multi-millionaire. You can't get somebody to drive you, especially if you know that you're.
And he had a pistol. And he had a pistol in his car.
And a gun. And I don't know if it was legally registered to him or not. I couldn't find that information out. But, why aren't you getting, one of your buddies to drive you? You got the money. Get a chauffeur. Get an Uber, something like that. So
you also had Cody Latimer. He's a wide receiver. And from my understanding, he got into an argument with a buddy of his over playing poker. And, some money was lost one way or the other. And he shot 2 shots near his buddy, like warning shots or whatever. 2 shots near his friend, I guess like a warning to him about cheating or whatever the case may be.
That's why you don't need to gamble with Michael Jordan, man. Don't be gambling with Michael Jordan. You got to throw them shots at him.
You see, that's why you are the Jordan hater. We are talking about football, and you go all the way back to Jordan because you just the Jordan. I believe you the one that cooked that pizza for him. I really
did. That. I put them ribs and cake on that pizza and put that little hot sauce on it.
I'm trying to tell you. Yep. I mean, it's like these dudes rolled up in there. Think about it, Jerry Rice and Steve Largent roll up into or Darryl Green. They were defensive backs. So let's say Darryl Green and Ronnie Lott roll up in your spot with doggone AK-47s on. What in the world is going on here? I mean, dude, that is obscene to even think about the fact that they rolled up in there like that. I mean, I don't know if like they're out of money or what in the world gave them that kind of mindset to, number 1, attempt it, and number 2, think that they were gonna get away with it. That's insane.
And I got all that, but that's why I said I wanted Coach to speak to it because again, we've had conversations in person about this. I want kind of Coach to speak to because he deals with a lot of these young players and talks to them. Speak to the fact that some of these young players still want to keep like credibility from their neighborhoods, still want to keep credibility with keeping up with the latest, cars and X, Y, and Z. Like, I guess we've talked about that, but Coach, I wanted to kind of see how much you wanted to share about
No, and I agree.
mentality.
And like Jason said, I've been very blessed to have been in the lives of a lot of these guys, and you'd be shocked at how these guys do not learn how to just let go of people. Sometimes you just got to let them go. I mean, look at Aaron Hernandez. The whole Aaron Hernandez story and all that. I mean, he's still gangbanging as a pro football player. I'm going to tell you how you know when they're really your boys, like Jason talking about. When that guy says to you, dude, don't drive right now. Let me drive. Both of us are drunk. So therefore, if anybody gonna get pulled over and put in jail, let it be me, not you. But those guys aren't doing that. That's why these guys out there, like Jason said, how can you not find somebody to drive for you when you know good and well you're drunk? Or why can't you call Uber? Why wouldn't somebody else say, dude, don't even risk it. Give me your keys right now, drive Uber, I'll make sure your car gets back home for you, whatever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's crazy that these guys get in trouble for some of the things they get in trouble with, like a DWI, like Travis said. These other two clowns brandishing AK-47s and breaking into somebody, man, that's obscene to me. I don't know where that came from. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Mr. Hood. Go ahead and unmute yourself and speak on that. I mean, you put it on the chat, but speak to it.
Yeah.
Right. No. Once these people make it to the pros and so forth, they become bigger than the system. They're untouchable. That's what they think. They think that their money and their social clout makes them untouchable. And this is why I do not like pro sports, because the athletes have forgotten the sport and it's all about the money and all about themselves. But they think they're bigger than the damn system.
Well, Richard, I can tell you this. When they sitting up in that prison with Bubba and Leroy, they're gonna be very touchable.
100%.
They won't be untouchable then.
No, they're gonna go from a tight end to a big center.
But I think that we start that thought process of them being bigger than the system from at the age where you're at, Coach, with high school and how they treat some of the players, and then they get to college and they get kind of protected as well. Like, and Hernandez was doing that stuff while he was in college. And it was, kind of,
Let me say this, Jason, and just on top of what you're saying, I agree with you totally. I'm going to tell you what, though. Here's the problem. And to me, we sometimes create that animal. Because just like all these top 100, these top 25, the top this, top that, we start following these kids and watching these kids learn like the 7th grade. And when you see that you've been the #1 quarterback in the country for the last 10 years, I mean, we sometimes are blowing these kids up to me more than we should. This is that we, though, sometimes, all these articles and these newspapers and these writers and everything else, blow these kids up and magnify them that way, where they do feel like they're that way.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Mr. and Mrs. Butler. Unmute and say the comment you put on the comment line. I think that's a real great question to ask Travis and Coach.
Yeah, so Chris put this in, but he's doing the dishes right now. So
good husband, great husband.
That's right.
No, that's a great wife.
But
give me a break.
Go ahead.
No, my thought is the other gentleman with the mask on his face, the Lone Ranger. My thought is, he says, well, I don't like professional sports because of this. Now that we're going to start paying college players, this is going to trickle down into the top 20 national NCAA football team, all that.
It could. It could very much so. And I will say this, I don't know that it's because you're paying the players, because, we hear every year about some of these guys, and they always seem to be at the University of Georgia. Steve Sperry used to say it. I love playing Georgia early because they're always going to have 4 or 5 kids that are still going to be suspended from something stupid they did, over the summer. And he was right. Georgia would always have 2 or 3 kids suspended for the South Carolina game. and Spurrier used to laugh about it. So a jackass is a jackass. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about home training, and a lot of these kids don't get good home training.
Yeah, let me jump in. Let me run back to Mr. Hood real quick. Mr. Hood, will that change your viewing habits when it comes to colleges if they start getting paid real money?
Nope. Because here's the deal. When a high schooler goes off to college and they get a scholarship, everyone in that locker room who's on scholarship was a doggone good player for their high school team in their community. So what are you going to do to separate yourself and show that you're not just good, that you're great? And this is where these kids get in trouble. They forget where they came from, that, yeah, they were good in their community and they might have had some opportunities given to them. But when you're off in college, you got a whole room full. You got 85 scholarships sitting there. And if you get your butt in trouble, well, you got another one sitting right behind you that's going to take your spot. But paying a college kid, you're already paying him. You're giving him a $250,000, $300,000 education. Yeah, colleges are making money off of you because we know sports, they get a lot of money coming in. But it takes a lot of money to keep that university going. But I don't think that they should have pay the college kids. And it just eats into their ego. And that's where I'm going. It's an ego builder.
Let's jump into UFC because I think UFC is kind of doing it right. And I know I watched the Jo and Lady D show, and they had some UFC people on there talking, and I know Jo and Lady D made their picks for the upcoming events. Let's talk about UFC, and is this model able to be transitioned over to the other sports we talk about? So if anyone doesn't know, UFC has been continuing their activities and fights just with empty arenas, and it's just as most minimal staff as they can in the arena. And the numbers have been proven. There's been an uptick in the numbers and the ratings, and it is something going on. So let's start with you, Coach. Do you think this is something that if the other sports do, it actually can work?
Well, if I may, let me first make a comment because Jo is actually on here. Jo Madden's on here listening right now. She stunk it up the other night, boy. She was bad with her picks.
Oh. I wasn't going to bring that up, Coach. I was going to let it slide, man.
Well, we've already talked about that.
Jo, unmute and defend yourself here. Unmute and defend yourself, Jo.
We can't hear you, Jo.
Yes,
we can't hear you.
It was absolutely awful. You know what? I got one win, and I got 2 wins that night. But Song Yangdong, he won that fight. He should have lost. Vera should have won. My Hill girl should have won, which was my huge underdog of the night. It was just a shit night. These refs cannot judge the fights without fans. It's absolutely terrible. So now we have to take into the refs' bias against the favorite, which is such BS. So you guys, I don't know. I am totally lost when it comes to the UFC with these judges. You know, I got a couple of fights in the last couple of ones. But Saturday night was absolutely terrible. I can't believe it because one of the wins I got should have been a loss. Vera should have won that. So
let me tell you what's very interesting.
Twist it up. It's just awful.
Let me tell you what's very interesting about what you're saying, because I've heard Daniel Cormier saying that the fighters are affected because there's no crowd noise. So now they can hear everything their corner's saying. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the corner's saying too much. And so the fighter's trying to do everything that he's hearing everybody saying. And some of the things that they're saying are contrary to each other. One guy saying throw your left, and the other guy saying throw your right. And so he doesn't know what to do because there's no crowd noise.
Smith fight? Did you see the Anthony Smith night?
Yes, I did. Yes.
That was awful. His corner wore him completely out. They're yelling like they'd normally yell, but they're not used to him hearing everything.
Right.
So he heard everything, and he was gassed. It absolutely killed him.
But you just made a good point about the judges, because a lot of times the judges hear the crowd go, ooh, or whatever. And so they like, okay, I missed that, but that must have been a good kick or something. And so I didn't think about that, about crowd noise actually affecting the judges.
It does. I think it totally does. And I never even realized how much. When Hill won that fight on Saturday, or Hill lost that fight on Saturday, I was blown away. Claudia, there's no way she should have won, but she was like the favorite of everything. And they just gave it to her. She was the one bleeding. She was the one beat up. She only took Hill to the ground once.
Yep.
And Hill got back up, which Hill is not a girl that can fight on the mat. Like, Claudia owns that mat. So that should have been Hill's fight. Like, it was just,
I
was upset Saturday, but you know what? We had a 6-hour Zoom party, so I wish you guys would have jumped on.
Go ahead and jump in there, Travis. Go ahead and jump in there. What do you think, Travis, about this?
I watched every single one of those because, of course, I was nothing on. That fight, especially, I clearly thought she won at least 2, if not 3 of the rounds.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, I got up and got something to drink because I was like, oh, Hill's going to win. And I heard it. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, they totally screwed her. And that was clearly just because she wasn't ranked and the other girl was. And then the other fight that you were talking about, the winner, the shock on his face, he knew he didn't even win that fight.
Yeah.
He was just like, what do you mean I won? Okay, cool. Like, it was awful.
Well,
no, he knew. I knew. I had him bet, and he did not win that fight. I got a win out of it, but I am the first one to admit Vera won that fight. It was absolutely awful, awful judging.
Here's my question, Joe, and this is why I put this on the topics, because how is the UFC doing this? I mean, they're probably, I saw one guy's face in a preliminary fight that was absolutely covered in blood. I mean, he couldn't even see. He kept taking his glove trying to wipe it away. I mean, how in a pandemic where everybody's worried about disease and all this other stuff, you got guys out there fighting and just blood flying everywhere.
Coach, well, maybe UFC has become essential workers like the WWE.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, at least the bloods thing, like, that's always kind of been a part of UFC. So there's really nothing, they can stop it and things like that, but that's always been a part. But with the testing and everything, they're doing some heavy-duty testing. They are strictly putting these guys into quarantine for over 2 weeks before they bring them out there. Like, they're taking the risk, but for right now, it's paying off, and they're making a ton of money. So,
But that was my point. How are they doing it? Because everybody else is trying to figure out how they can do it. And, I mean, the Pac-12 basically shut down for the year out there on the West Coast, and UFC is thriving right now.
It's
like Jason said, thriving.
It's because where they're fighting. It's just like WWE and AEW. They're in Florida, and Florida is allowing it to happen. So
go ahead, Joe. Let's go to Joe real quick. We'll go to Coach real quick, and we'll close on down. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was just saying, is it because there's lower numbers? Because when you look at the UFC, you've got 2 fighters, 2 fighters, 2 fighters, and then you've got the supporting staff.
Yeah.
It is way less than a football team, way less than a baseball team, way less than a basketball team.
Very true.
Is that
true.
why? I don't understand why.
All right, Coach, we are under a minute. Give us some closing words, and we'll get on out of here tonight.
Guys, all I'm saying is this. I'm very hopeful. They're talking about NFL teams opening up facilities, basketball team, baseball teams. Everybody's talking about opening up facilities. We got a golf tournament that's going to happen. It's going to be a charity deal with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady playing with Tiger and Phil and that kind of thing. So at least it looks like we're on the horizon of things returning to normal. So let's just all continue to be safe out there, continue to do the right things. Don't be doing dumb stuff. Let's get back to normal. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night, Ms. Francis.
And straight from the hip. Thank you, guys. You guys have a great night.